next piece needs some context for you. So, I've been blessed to have graduate school landing in my life. So, I've started a doctoral program at USC in Columbia, and every day I get to drive an hour and a half back and forth, and so I've filled my time with NPR. So, one day I'm listening to this program called StoryCorps, which I've never heard before. And, yeah, right. So, it's a late night drive, and it's dark outside, and I heard this story that it had me in tears. It's the story of a woman who grew up in the 40s, and she didn't know, and her girlfriend, her lover, did not know how to make this work, and they had no examples of what was going to happen. And so they just kind of had this relationship, and one went the other way, and one went the other way. And I don't give away the story for you, but it was really quite amazing because all of us have had awful things happen in our life, but very few people are able to see the good in those stories. And this was one of those stories. And I remember I'm on the road, thank God, no one could see me, it was dark. I'm streaming in tears. And I called my partner and I said, this is a story I just heard, and I couldn't finish it. So I decided this would be a really powerful song to set to music, and so I did. And then I had the thought, do I need permission for this? I decided to look up Glenda Elliott, who wrote that her story on Facebook. And I realized we had one mutual friend in common who was the LGBT leader at the local university. And I said, hey, do you know Glenda Elliott who's had a story on StoryCorps? Yeah, that's her. Well, can you put me in touch with her? Yes. Fast forward, we have a phone call with Glenda, who is wonderfully Southern woman and amazing, and lives in Birmingham, Alabama. And I said, do you mind if I set your story to music? It's touched my life. And she said, sure, I would love that. And I said, good, because it's already done. About a month or so later, she emails me saying she's coming to Charlotte to premiere the piece. And we were floored to have her with us to hear her story and to be graced with her presence. And so she emails me closer to GALA festival time, and she said, I don't know that I could live without hearing my story sung to me one more time. So Glenda Elliott is here with us tonight. This afternoon, One Voice Chorus of Charlotte presents to you your story. It's our story. Glenda and Lauree, certain kinds of love never die.
There are certain kinds of love that never die. There are certain kinds of love that never die. That never
Lauree knew how to tease me without my being offended. And there was something in the way that she would smile that, I can still see very vividly. She was the first person I really, truly loved. But I grew up in the 40s in a small rural community, and there were certainly no examples of what it meant to love someone of the same sex. So I didn't know how to understand that. My high school sweetheart, he proposed to me, and I thought at that time, that's what a woman did, she got married. And it didn't take me long to realize that I had made a mistake. So he and I decided to get a divorce. During all of this time, Lauree and I stayed in touch. I knew that I loved her deeply. didn't hit me so much until I turned 60.